Alright, well, I pulled that thing out kind of without you guys, but rotten rubber hoses. I had to start the Dodge. Put you up in the tripod here. Well, let's see what's behind door number 1. Definitely seen worse. Now, one thing too on these older engines, this is how you adjust the rockers right here. You've got to loosen this or tighten this and I think it's interference fit, so you can loosen it or tighten it, and there's no locking nut or anything like that to keep it from backing out. So you want to look at all those just to kind of see if you see any of them that have a larger gap than the next one. And what that's going to tell you is whether or not some of these are loose. I haven't found any that are loose other than just a little slight bit. But you got to remember that when these things are at operating temperature, this noise, this movement, typically will go away. So that one's a little bit loose too, but that's really not too bad. Now this is what's called an oil vapor or oil breather baffle, and what this is basically is called a road draft tube. As you can see, it's pretty nasty inside there, but I'll show you kind of how this works. So basically this is the front of the car, or it's front of the engine right here, and as you're driving down the road, this is, you know, connected to the side of the engine. As you're driving down the road, as you drive, the air will draw across this thing and actually will pull a slight vacuum on the bottom of this, and it actually causes the vapor to pull out the bottom of this thing. And now the modern thing is that it's got a PCV system, which could probably put a PCV type system in this. You'd have to modify it quite a bit. Probably have to put a breather on this and actually put some sort of a PCV valve in the valve cover. That means drilling a hole in original metal, and then a grommet. And I don't know if it'd be worth that, but it looks like somebody's been in there, and you can see that they've actually done some welding on this. They've put brass on it. Probably didn't have an actual MIG weld or anything, but that's what that's all about. And you can see it's pretty nasty. A lot of times you get spiders and wasp nests and stuff that'll plug this up, and it'll cause the crankcase itself, which is all of this up in here, and anything inside these pans here, oil pan, these side covers, and then valve cover. And what can happen is if you get too much pressure inside this engine, a couple things will happen. And one of the things is, if you look over here, what you see is you'll see this gasket has blown out. It looks like it's been sitting there for quite some time. Hopefully you can see that. But you can see the mark of the actual baffle where it was put in. And it's supposed to go this way, but that must have blown out of there at some point. And that can mean a couple of different things. Either this gasket just simply failed, or there's too much crankcase pressure. And if there is, then a lot of that has to do with the piston rings and what they call leak by, which is as a piston travels to the top of its travel into the combustion chamber or into its compression area, what happens is compression will leak past the cylinder rings and it'll get into the crankcase. So as it does that, like I say, that's creating too much pressure, and the road draft tube relieves that pressure, obviously. And then some of these actually have a breather, which this one is going to be right here on the dipstick. If you pull this unit out, which is kind of a pain, I think it's just because it's so old. But anyway, see the screen there? So air will draw into this unit right in here. It draws it in, and then this road draft tube pulls it out, so it keeps like a constant flow going in and out of the engine like that. Definitely dry. Ooh, man, that thing is definitely stiff. Would have taken a little bit of work to get that thing going, but I don't know, they said they had this thing running a few years ago. Maybe, but it feels like it's been, I don't know, probably sitting for a lot longer than it was running. And you can see this stuff, it's fairly thick. You know, that's really a lot of combustion. I'll check these to see if they're bent. Look how long they are. My gosh, they've got to be 18 inches long. Oh, there's your gasket. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's have a look. Okay. First thing you can do is look at the cylinder head just to kind of see what's going on. And you can pretty much see kind of what I was seeing. You've got, these are just, they're just wet. But this one right here, you can see it's kind of got a lot more to it as far as not just wetness, but stalactites. And then this one, these are two pretty bad ones. So, let's have a look at this block. Now keep in mind I put that mixture of solvent stuff in there. So you pull a gasket off. See, it's got pop-up pistons. They're high compression pistons. Let me see if I can suck some of that out of there and give you an idea what we're looking at. Yeah, I don't know. You know what it looks like to me. It's just my opinion, of course, but I think these people tried to sell this lady a bill of goods, saying that that engine has just recently been run. Yeah, I don't know about that. let's do a little bit of a screwdriver test here. See what kind of archaeology we can dig out of that. I don't know about that. For that to be run that bad, whew, that's pretty nasty. That's what they should look like. So what they've done is somehow they got this engine ingested with at least 3 cylinders of water. Couldn't get it running, and then turn around and said that, yeah, it was running fine. Probably just needs some carburetor work or something, whatever it is they told her. I don't think so. I think we're looking at a major overhaul here, at least. I could probably pound those cylinders out. Pound the pistons out. You know, that one's not too bad, and that's why there's 1, 2, 3 that are fairly dry. And I think some of that is because the oil ran past the rings on those cylinders, because they were not seized up, but these 3 are. There's 1 here, and then these 2 on the end are obviously completely seized. I'm looking to see what's inside there as far as archaeology goes. I'm kind of thinking maybe there was some seeds, some shells from something. That means mice probably got up inside the exhaust system while it was parked and ransacked the place. And away we go. And hit the nail on the head, and Bob's your uncle. Looks like we're going to need to do a rebuild. Well, not much I can do. I might try to let you follow along if I pull those pistons out of there, but for right now I think we're going to close the video out. Yeah, there's not much turning that crankshaft, and that's probably why that crankshaft pulley broke on me. Because it just was, 3 seized up cylinders. Okay, anyway, well, there's your thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.